I'll just add to what Marco said. Maybe post this question, I can introduce myself. So it also depends on the use case. In addition to how Marco has defined it, has been existing since a long time. Gaming has been defining and driving it in very simple sense, right? It's a network of interconnected 3D spaces, and if you look at the evolution of the internet, it's been a medium where some of our five senses have been digitized in some sense, right? We started off with digitizing the sense of hearing, the sense of sight, and the metaverse is just taking them, putting them in an immersive experience. And now with haptics, we are digitizing the sense of touch. The only thing I think we can't really digitize in the metaverse is a sense of smell and sense of taste. But
give it time.
Yeah, as long as you can, transfer all of your human senses into a virtual world, that is a metaverse. And it depends on the use case. Use cases like gaming, you don't have to be fully immersed. Your imagination can take you there. Use cases like virtual tourism or shopping, you need to be fully immersed. You need to go around with your family, get a sense of social feedback when you're purchasing a product, and do that thing, right? So
what do you think the first killer app is going to be that gets 100 million people to use it?
Interesting. I think
You can say
it's not going to be a binary event where the first app is going to crack 100 million. It's going to be a slow grind. There will be multiple apps driving 1 million to 5 million kind of MAU paces.
the most popular one right now.
VR chat.
VR chat.
Yeah.
Is it like roulette chat, or it's just two people talking to each other in VR?
It's like Yahoo chat rooms, but in virtual reality.
Got it. Yeah, communication.
So you can enter chat rooms.
Yep. And some people have created chat rooms where you can do things like play a game of billiards, or some people have put in a shooting range. They have introduced some interesting creative tools where you can paint together or do stuff like that. But there are inherent technology problems. Any room cannot support more than 30 to 40 concurrent users stably. Otherwise, the room starts collapsing. There's too many network complications that start popping up. So that's why game engines become very important, right? Companies that have built game engines and own IP across game engines really have a huge advantage in building and defining the metaverse. So what's going to be really the app that will drive critical mass in the metaverse? It's going to be sports or any kind of content that drives mass engagement, right? Sports has this very tribalistic feeling where millions of people watch it together. And if a million people watch it together in a stadium, and whichever company solves that problem first, either in segments or intelligently through simulating that experience, imagine watching the IPL or the FIFA World Cup in the metaverse from your home.
Who do you think is the leader in this space? Which company? Who do you think will make money off the metaverse first?
Too early to bet on leaders. Bet on people. John Carmack is the guy who's considered.
See, we can't really bet on people. At least we can buy stocks.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm stupid. Who is John Carmack?
Okay, so John Carmack is a legend for all of us gamers. Anyone who's been into gaming in the last 2 decades have idolized him. He's a game designer, software engineer.
What has he designed?
He built the first game engine in the world. He redefined immersion. Until then, games were basically your console games that you've seen, Contra, Mario, console-based games. And suddenly this guy churns out a game engine, and you see Doom 3, where you are traveling in a 3D space and interacting, shooting, killing people, and having this whole immersive experience. John went on to create a few iterations, and from that spawned off a lot of spin-offs. Unreal Engine, what it is today, is basically.
Oh, he's the founder of Unreal.
Yeah.
No. John Carmack created the first game engine from which the Unreal Engine spun off.
Okay.
And the whole gaming ecosystem basically spun off from what he built.
Would you say amongst large companies it's between Microsoft and Meta?
No, Unreal is an independent company. It's,
Bro, you don't know anything about Unreal? Oh, bro, Unreal is like how
Unreal.
much longer before Meta buys Unreal?
they won't tell.
Fair.
Yeah. Tell us a bit more about Unreal. No, I don't know.
So it's the most popular game engine in the world.
Maybe I'll share screen and show you what Unreal can do.
Bro,
Yeah?
they
Which
released
game?
they released everything.
Uh,
So Unreal Engine is like, it's the engine on which games are built on top of, and they've built all these amazing tools. Okay, so they just released something a couple of months ago, which enables anyone can come in and you can create a game on this.
Yeah, it's
And
like
the
drag and
text-
drop.
Drag and drop, and the textures are insanely realistic.
Yeah.
What is the new engine called? It's called something, right? The tool where everyone can build.
It's Unreal Engine 5.1.
Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yeah.
Five.
So it seems like Metaverse is also taking the path of the internet, right? Like chat rooms, then gaming,
Correct.
then so
So do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
That's the engine, by the way. What you're seeing.
So this is just a feature on Unreal Engine. This is called MetaHumans, and basically none of these human beings are real. They are avatars generated by blending a combination of virtual assets.
This is the best virtual asset you ever seen, right? Like
Yeah.
I've never seen something be this good.
It's amazing.
I need to get you into gaming. You gotta play some of these games. They're too good.
So one controversial question, yeah, why does Neverland, or I forget the destination, the first metaverse destination where you could host Horizon World or Neverland, I forget what it's called, but it has 26 DAU or daily active users, which is insane, right? And it's valued at $1 billion. And why would this fail? Like, why is Centraland? Sorry,
Decentraland. Yes, 291 active user
haven't.
as October 2022.
It's awesome.
It's awful.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of companies which are like they're crypto companies, so to say. They tokenize first and they're building the game and there's a promise. A lot of these NFT projects which are
NFTs are, yeah.
No, NFTs have a real use case. We can get to that. That's a different thing. But the question I always had is how the hell are they going to compete with Facebook, Meta, and Microsoft? How can you compete? How can a 10-person engineering team compete there?
I do have a question though. Do you intend a metaverse like any technology virtual simulation, or a metaverse is based on like all the environment being traced on blockchain? Because this is the fundamental difference between like metaverse and virtual experience. Because with our company, we build experience in the Decentraland, we build experience in Sandbox. Now we bought a building in Altiverse. That is another, let's say, kind of metaverse, but I call it simulation, that use Unreal Engine 5, very good graphic, because the Decentraland Sandbox, of course, is not that compelling. But the problem is that it's not a real like metaverse as the concept of Sandbox and the Decentraland, because in Sandbox and the Decentraland, all the lands are NFTs, and all the building are NFTs. All the structures that are there are built on a traceable way. And then the goal of the metaverse, and that's why Decentraland and Sandbox and all other metaverse, like regular metaverse, let's call them, have a different, have a lower graphic, because the way to process all this image and trace all this transaction in the blockchain, as of now, it's impossible because the technology is not that sophisticated. So that's I think the first distinction between
what is one
I do metaverse and
land?
sorry.
What do people do after buying this land? Like on the metaverse, you said you bought a building or a land. Like what happens next?
You wait.
So exactly. No, for us it's more a showcase, because we have this building, and then this metaverse is more like a gamification experience. So we bought this building, and then we're gonna have fashion show in real life, and then we're going to replicate the fashion show in the building. Or if we have an installation,
That's a phygital aspect of it.
Yeah.
Has anyone here played Grand Theft Auto 5 and now 6 is going to come out at some point? Have you guys played?
3 or 4?
You got to play 5, and 5 has a multiplayer mode.
Are you talking about the one on your phone or on an actual
No,
system?
on an actual system. Okay. So 5 has a multiplayer mode where anyone can create a server and over 1,000 people can come in on the server. And when you enter the server, you can choose what your occupation is going to be. Once you get in on the server, you can choose a job or you can start a business. And then you can actually do the business, and you have a bank account, and there's a number that goes up on it. It's kind of
Are
like
you saying real bank account?
real bank account and real people who are in the city, not a real bank account, but real people in the city.
And these are other users.
These
who
are
are
other users.
Other
So
Do you think at some point that bank account will become a real bank account?
it's possible. I mean, it's possible that they might tokenize it, or each dollar in the game is worth something in the real world. It's like Second Life. That was also a game, but
Yeah.
it's really advanced. And people actually role play. So the multiplayer version of GTA is called GTA Roleplay. It's where you actually role play. And the rules of the server are that if you stop role playing, you get booted out. So people come in, they choose a character, they talk in an accent, they'll go to a store, and people stream this online all the time. This is the closest thing to the metaverse that already exists that I've seen. Like there are people who stream this for 10 hours a day. And literally this guy, he'll choose an accent and all he'll do is, today I got to buy flowers for my wife. And there's another person somewhere in Aurangabad who in the game have married each other.
Yeah.
And they're continuing the story. This behavior already exists. Sorry, just want to take a break to appreciate GTA 5.
Since you both have experience in social media, how do you guys think social media will adopt the metaverse?
So I think a couple of things. I think first, social media has to unlearn what it knows, which is social media is all about control for the platform, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about making money on.
Metaverse will be about the control by 2 platforms.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. Unless Microsoft wins that race, and then it's a very different world because they're always going to be a platform, a tech provider, versus owning an end user experience, right? I mean, they've stayed away from it till date, quite consciously. So if you think about it,
In Satya we trust.
in Satya we trust, totally.
Yeah.
So I think they'll have to unlearn a lot because in the social world, you own the consumer, you own his data, you monetize his or her data, and in the metaverse, you really don't own the consumer, right? It's on blockchain. Unless, sure, you
No, metaverse is not necessarily on the blockchain.
Yeah.
It can very much be on AWS servers.
Like the game I was playing last night, Echo,
Yeah.
on the Oculus, on Meta's platform, is owned by them, right?
No,
it's owned by them.
Everything
Everything
is
is theirs.
Yeah, it's
So-
the App Store.
So what I think will happen is there'll be multiple people trying out different use cases of the metaverse,
Yeah.
right? One person will do communication, another will do gaming, third one will do just fashion. So all of this, and somebody else will say, I'll just create the world.
Yeah.
Like I can attend a concert or whatever, right? The guy who cracks the highest frequency use case in the metaverse gets the opportunity to own all the low frequency use cases.
What do we
after
think?
that.
If we all had to wager a guess, what do we suspect the first use case will be?
I think that it makes sense that VR chat is insanely popular
Communication, yeah.
because basic communication
do
and
we
the
look like-
randomness.
How original do we look? Not original, but how, like, I'm shaking my hand and expressing myself in a certain manner.
Yeah.
How much does that pass on into the metaverse?
Prashant will be able to answer that.
Guys, you guys need to check out haptics. The latest CES show had some really cool metaverse hardware like Tesla suit, for example. Tesla suit is like a jacket and a pant that you wear on, and it transmits your full body feedback onto the metaverse. So if I give you a hug sitting in New York, you feel it.
We're there. We're already there.
Have you guys seen this movie, Ready Player One?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So in the movie, this guy orders I think the X1 suit or something before he goes on a date with his girlfriend, and
Right.
he checks in here. Are you wearing a suit with all full body sensors, and they go on a date dancing, So we're almost there. I think 5G is one thing, and then I'm betting big on Apple to change things on the AR and.
Prashant and Marco, we're going to put you on the spot a little bit. Name one company you would bet on which is publicly listed and people can invest in to take advantage of the metaverse. And you can name one publicly listed company.
Okay. So on the consumer side, there is no metaverse company which has any substantial lead. There are infrastructure players, and these can be identified by engineering heads, owning or building different components. But on the enterprise side, it's no doubt Microsoft.
Microsoft more than Meta?
By miles.
Microsoft better than Meta?
Yeah, Meta is screwed. John Carmack resigned last week. Until John Carmack was there, I was, having some hope for Meta. But after he resigned, there's no hope. There's no tangible VR tech guy or metaverse tech guy within Meta's leadership right now.
He's going to sell his stock right now.
You have stock? Sell. I sold mine.
Okay, how do you feel about Nvidia?
So yeah, that's the infrastructure player I'm talking about. So you have people like that, Nvidia and maybe IQI from China, or anyone who's manufacturing hardware. Those guys are going to do fine always.
Nvidia, if, like for both metaverse and crypto, because Nvidia is basically everyone's buying.
I like how
Nvidia
you're
for-
plugging in crypto here.
I'm
Nobody's
not-
interested.
This is the worst time to talk about crypto.
I know, it's a bad word.
Yeah. But Nvidia also people use it to mine.
Has any lead? I don't think there will be any lead until at least 1 or 2 years after Apple launches their VR devices.
Another reason why I think Meta won't do well in the metaverse is because everything that they've done well after Facebook is something they bought.
Yeah, they've acquired.
Everything they've tried to do on their own, I don't think they've done well at all. So their strategy is to keep an eye out on which is the next company that will do well on metaverse and then buy it.
The other controversial view is that any Web 1.0 company was terrible has never built a great Web 2.0 product or even a company, right? And I don't see any.
I mean, that's because
current
between
Web 2.
2010 and 2022, we've
Yeah.
not seen any substantial innovation. It's because weak times create weak men, right? Good times create weak men, and it's been great times for the last 15 years, right? So no real innovation has actually happened.
Also, guys, we all are disclosing that we may or may not have shares in any of the companies.
No, mine is totally organic. It's all names that are popping up in my head. Like.
But we might.
I have no
or
Meta
we
shares
might
left.
But remember, there's only
Let's say
one man
we
who
may have-
professionally trades at this table.
It's always important to have disclosures.
If I may give my opinion on Meta, why it won't succeed in the metaverse is because, of course, what you say, they stuck in 2010 and now it's 2012, but they don't understand the concept of the metaverse. The metaverse is like also democracy.
Yeah,
It's like democratization of the creation phase of the usage. If you go to Sandbox and you create your own collection, you get 85% of the sales. Sandbox will just take a fee. In Meta, they will take 85% and the creator will take 15%. That's the problem. And the second thing is like, why do I need to have my virtual avatar that looks like me if I have to play around with my imagination in a metaverse? I mean, I can have my replica, but it's just like a little bit lame. Sorry for the word.
Yeah.
Someone was talking to me about the concept of buying watches. Why does somebody buy a Rolex? And if somebody buys a Rolex in the real world, why not spend on an NFT in the virtual world?
Of course.
I'm not able to digest that logic yet.